Welcome to the Collector's Cast, everybody. We're back again.
They haven't taken us off the air yet.
No. We're trying hard to get them to, but it's not successful yet. I'm Clint Wilson. As always, my co-host Mike Bloski is here, and we're here to talk about a very cool subject today, Mike, and that is collecting all to do with movies, movie memorabilia, movie collectibles. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to movies. Posters, memorabilia, autographs,
unbelievable
props,
amount of stuff.
Things that we're actually using. Costumes, yes, huge, huge. You and I always talk movies. One of our main subjects.
One of our main subjects.
And we actually start, it's gotten to the point where us and guys that we work with from over in the wrecking business, and that we all kind of do this. We just have ready to go movie lines that we interject in regular conversations every day, and everybody knows what it means because they've seen the movie.
And you know why I think that is, Clint? I think that is because back in the day when I was younger, you would see a movie on television or a movie, and you'd see it once. Mm-hmm. And then when would you ever see it again? Maybe years later or something. But now, I mean, how many times have we watched Goodfellas? Or
now with syndication, everything's on over and over. One that comes to mind that I always think about is Harry. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's from Dumb and Dumber. When Harry and Lloyd, the two dumb guys, and Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, it's like, hey, we have to do this, or we have to do something, or whatever. And the way Jim Carrey goes, Harry, I took care of it. He really didn't, but So now it's like if I'm asking my manager Justin at the wrecking yard, hey, do we do this, blah blah blah, Harry? So okay, he took care of it. Yeah. It's just one of those movie lines that enters into the regular everyday vernacular.
And the actual collecting of movies themselves in DVD or whatever VHS format tapes. You're collecting them in.
I have an uncle and aunt with probably 500 VHS tapes. It's just crazy. It's like a library all around their living room. It's great.
And then the tape breaks.
Yeah, well,
the jams.
The technology
gets twisted.
Is not perfect. Whatever happened to the laser disc? Damn it! I want to know where they went.
But.
I was going to say, our guest that's coming on, who's a very knowledgeable guy, he works in the movies, he gave me one of my favorite movie posters ever. He gave me an original Star Wars poster years ago.
Whoa.
And I've since had that framed, and my son now has it in his room. So, yeah. But I digress. Instead of talking about him, why don't we get him out here? Here's a guy that works in movies. He collects memorabilia himself, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. So we'll come right back from the break, and we'll be talking with Mr. Warren Dean Fulton. We look forward to seeing you then.
See you in a bit.
Welcome back to the Collector's Cast. I'm here today, as always, with my co-host Mike Bloski. I'm Clint the Collector, Clint Wilson, and our special guest here going through piles and piles of files, Mr. Warren Dean Fulton. Welcome to the show today, sir.
Thank you, Clint. Nice meeting you, Mike.
Yes, Warren, great to have you here. And just in our little bit of our green room talk, let's call it.
Yeah.
Just unbelievably interested and fascinated to hear about what you have to say of the stuff you're collecting. It's pretty cool.
Yes. All right. Well, this is one of the things that I collect.
Yes.
Like a lot of us, collecting seems to be this all-consuming affliction.
Oh, yes.
Like I think for me, it started in childhood. And, the early things that I collected were like comic books.
Sure.
And Archie digests.
Sure.
And marbles.
You and I have talked a little Archie before, yeah.
Yeah.
And marbles, too.
Marbles and hockey cards.
Okay.
And I was never...
Mike knows that story.
I wasn't a hockey fan as such, but I was into the hockey cards because in the 70s, you had to be.
Yeah.
It was part and parcel of your
being
childhood.
a good Canadian kid.
Yeah, well, and we played games with the hockey cards, and
Sure.
my brother had like a rookie signed by Wayne Gretzky, his rookie card, and we
It went
closest to the wall.
Went in the spokes of his bike.
Yeah, I did that with other cards, but he had that for the longest time. And we had met Wayne Gretzky when we lived in Nova Scotia. at a GW Jeans promotion thing that he had these autographed, pre-signed autographs, and then he would autograph them as well. And then because he was like, oh, this Edmonton Oiler guy, and my brother was born in Edmonton, so he's like, I got your rookie card.
Well,
So, but yeah, sorry.
if we get onto hockey, Mike could talk about Gretzky. He knows him personally, and
Very cool.
and could go on that subject for quite a while. but no, I think what you're getting at is here. Even though this episode is themed around movie memorabilia and movie collecting, like most collectors, you're preaching to the choir to us. We cover these things on this show. It's multifaceted. You don't just collect one thing.
No, and the
Might
thing
start
that
with one thing, but it goes
the
on
thing
and
that I
on.
probably have the largest collection in is poetry books. But I don't know if your listeners or viewers would be interested in that or beat literature.
It depends. We've got listeners and viewers from all walks of life, so quite possibly, if I guarantee if we ever do a poetry episode, we'll call upon you because I know you do have some interesting.
Isn't that the thing that amazes us with this show that we have, is that everything almost is collectible, and you'll find just fascination in crazy. Like, see, now just saying that collection of poetry books, that's something I would be interested in.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so.
And something you would have never thought. If I asked you to list 100 things you could collect, poetry books would not have been one of them.
Yeah.
But
For me, it is.
Oh, it would. But I'm saying with Mike, for the average Joe, you think collecting bottle caps, marbles, whatever. But it goes deeper and it goes in so many directions. But I think what you've brought with you is some stuff that is pertinent to our theme today in movie memorabilia. Now, as I think we mentioned in the intro, Warren works in the movies, works in film and television. And you've, over the years, come across, what do you have here?
Well, what I have is a number of items. I do have a collection of personal movie swag. So that's the crew gifts that we get, like jackets and T-shirts and mugs and whatnot. But what I really thought was interesting and what I've been growing a collection of is the promotional materials to promote the films. So the press books, which are, I just brought a few. So these large sheets are press books.
Okay.
So we've got, the Day of the Locusts, and these are advertising promotional materials, for They Might Be Giants, which I didn't even realize was a film.
movie.
I know it is a band.
As a band name. And I thought they made that up just to get people to their shows, because, hey, they might be giants. Let's go see.
They
they're
they
just
might
normal
be really
size.
big. Oh, geez. What a disappointment.
I did not know it was a movie.
And, Death of a Gunfighter, Roadie.
Oh,
I know
Roadie.
you know this
Roadie.
film.
We talked
Roadie.
about Roadie. Mike, do you know Roadie?
Oh, yeah.
You've
Starring
seen it,
Meatloaf?
Yeah.
As Travis Redfish, the world's greatest roadie. That's a classic that's you either know it or you don't.
Yes.
And those who know it cherish it.
Right. So these items, these promotional materials, would be sent out by the studios to the journals, like the trades, the newspapers, as well as to the theaters themselves.
Sure.
To let them know, hey, we've got this new film out, and we think that you should, show it in your theater.
Yeah.
And also, like, for the...
I just clued in, like growing up as a kid in the 70s, when you'd look up in the paper to see what was on, they'd be smaller versions of these kits.
Yeah.
These pictures here. Yeah.
Like, do you remember Jerry Lewis as the disorderly orderly?
Yeah.
I don't personally, but I know Jerry Lewis was
You remember that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't.
Absolutely.
I remember him as the Nutty Professor. And
Well, even though Mike looks like a man of about 35 or 40, he precedes us in age a little bit. He's a little older than you
we're
and I.
looking at like 5 decades, you and I, right?
Yeah. Well, what year were you born?
69.
Oh, geez, you're older than me.
Yes, I am.
Well, Mike's even older than that by a few more.
And this, the Owl and the Pussycat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've heard of that
I
one?
know of it. I've heard of
Yeah.
it, but I don't know.
Now
the film
this
itself.
one this is I'll show you as well.
I just
there
want
you
to
go.
show this.
So it's with Charlton Heston, but introducing Lee Majors.
Oh,
Lee Majors, of course,
the $6 million
$6 million
man.
man.
Yeah.
And the Fall Guy.
And, but the $6 million man.
Yes,
Steve
but this was
Austin.
introducing him in a Western.
That's correct.
And
this
what
was
movie
his
is that?
It was called
Will
Will
Penny.
Penny.
Yeah, have you seen this movie?
What is it again? Sorry, Will
Penny.
Penny. No, I don't know it.
I haven't seen it either.
But Mike is
I've seen it.
obviously familiar with it.
But you've seen it.
Yes, I've seen
Is
it.
it any
So,
good?
Lee, and do you remember
I
Lee
liked it,
Majors? Do
but
you
I
remember Lee
like-
Majors being in it?
Well, no.
Because it was probably.
I know
his-
now because it says it on there.
But
But I was.
Isn't that funny how you do that sometimes? You watch a movie with some young actors you're not familiar with, and then later they become famous. You get familiar with them, and then you watch the whole movie and oh, I didn't realize that was so and so playing whoever.
I
Do you-
just
do you-
did that with the other night. I watched The Dirty Dozen,
Okay.
and then you know
The
at
original.
end, they're going on who's who, and you're like, right. Of course, there's Telly Savalas in there.
Yeah.
And there's different. Great. A lot of that. And then you say, oh, look what that guy looked like when he was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you know what
Okay.
his first feature film debut was?
Oh, geez. Well, he was a skinny little kid when he was acting. I remember he was in some fast food commercials or something, I think.
But-
what was his film debut?
Film debut was Critters 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Critters 3. So that was
Critters
straight
3.
to video, probably. Or did it go into
I
the
think it was
theaters?
in the, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't
I remember Critters 1 and 2 very well.
I don't remember anything about that.
But yeah, and do you remember Chud?
I
Yes.
remember the name Chud.
Chud,
What
yeah.
was
Chud,
that?
cannibalistic human
Underground
dweller.
dwellers.
Yeah, it was a horror movie.
It
type
was a
thing.
horror movie, like kind of like at the same time as
The Hills Have
Gremlins
Eyes
and all those.
Was
sort
it
of-
around the Hills Have Eyes kind of thing? Or I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm rambling.
But so then
You're the
aside
movie
from
guy.
that, the other thing that so I've got a bunch of those
Yeah.
press books or one sheets or they're promotional materials, right?
Cool.
And then the other thing that I have are a number of stills from the press kits. Now, what's interesting is the vast majority of the press kits that are sent out are all sent out digitally.
Oh.
And so, and they're all created digitally. So there's not much in the way of tangible.
And you're
collectible
holding a glossy photo there.
I'm
That's an
holding
actual,
these are actual
Citizen
glossy
Kane.
photos, and this is from Citizen Kane.
Oh,
So
Very cool.
Orson Welles.
that's an original
It
press
is.
promo picture from Citizen Kane.
Yeah, for Turner, but it's from when Turner movie classics.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
not as old as
Oh, okay.
Citizen Kane itself.
Well, thank goodness they're not
but
colored.
they're actual.
They're not colorized like some of the Turner
Right.
colorized movies.
Well, they never colorized Citizen Kane.
No.
No.
Somebody put their foot down and said, "Damn
I-
it, not Citizen Kane,
Hopefully.
not Citizen." Kane.
that or A Touch of Evil. I'm sure that those ones haven't been. So
Now, what would
classics
you-
like Citizen Kane, I have, and then other celebrated
Sorry.
award-winning.
Back to Citizen Kane. I'm just
Yes.
wondering if the Rosebud sled still exists.
I'm sure it's in someone's collector shop,
Wow, because that'd be worth some big bucks.
and that's the other thing. There are people who collect movie memorabilia, actual props.
Mm-hmm.
So they wait for the productions to have their set sales, and they will buy the wardrobe or props and things like that.
So back, yeah.
I see you've got this in your hand. I'm
Yeah.
reading here.
Dude, where's my car? So
yes.
yeah, so we looked at Citizen Kane, and then we have classic great films like
Dude, where's my car? Nice.
Right?
And those
So-
are
and
those are
these
again
are
press kit photos.
Press kit photos. So these would be
Are there any? Are they in the main two guys? Ashton Kutcher and
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the
I don't know
Sean William Scott? Isn't it?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
the-
that guy's
the-
name
the
from American
Stifler.
Pie.
Stifler.
Stifler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, there he is. Dude,
Yeah.
where's my car?
Yeah, that's when they get the tattoos on their backs. One says sweet and one says dude. Sweet. What does mine say? Dude. No. What does mine say? Sweet. And they get to have that back and forth, kind of a who's done first sort of thing about their.
Yeah,
Tattoos.
I actually watched that once.
Okay.
And was like, this is not made for me.
But you know what? You know what? The other now
What? It
movies,
was-
movies,
it
and
was
movies.
too stupid.
No, this is something important. I kind of collect movie lines in my head, or like great things that I reuse all the time in real life. And there's something out of that movie that I use all the time. And it's from the Chinese restaurant drive-through speaker.
Okay.
And then, remember that? So, oh, we'll take a whatever order of noodles. And then, and whatever.
Okay.
And then, no, that's it. And then, no, we're good. And then, remember they're trying to make them order more? But we do that, it's like just somebody's like, oh, I did this for you. And then, and then I washed your car. And then, like, it's just a way to, anyway, pop culture.
I like it.
Pop culture comes out of movies. Yeah. How often do we, we get confused at work and like somebody's got to do a job like, they go, okay, fine, I'll go up and throw out all that cardboard. It's like, and you start looking around like, where are the shovels? And it's from Goodfellas, Where are the shovels? It's like you're going to get rid of the thing. I got no lime. You're going to dig the hole. What? You think I never dug a hole before? Well, where are the shovels?
So look, we have all this movie memorabilia stuff.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask this question to you guys.
Okay.
If you could have one piece of movie memorabilia to have in your little collection, what would it be?
I'm just going to make an interjection I was going to say before, in that buying and selling collectibles in my time and dealing with this stuff, anything movie related that is proof of being on screen used, the price just goes through the roof. But say we're not on a budget, we can own anything.
Not on a budget, just you could own anything. What would you like? I know what I would like. So.
I saw something that I know how much it was worth, because it was on the show Pawn Stars, and Rick Harrison went to England to buy it, and that was Han Solo's original blaster.
Okay.
Yeah, we just did a
How
space
much was that
episode. I think it was around $1 million they wanted for it.
Jeez.
It was the actual blaster. It didn't look like much either. It was kind of ugly. It wasn't super defined.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a little bit.
It had some foam on it and hokiness. But I don't know if that's what I would do though. I think
I would probably want Indiana Jones's hat.
Oh, I think you were going to say his whip, but his hat.
No, his hat.
The actual
because
hat.
his hat,
it's iconic.
It's iconic, but it's also something that in the films is so important to him that he,
he's
goes
always
back.
getting his hat.
He's always retrieving his hat to.
Yeah.
So and I would just like that to be able to have a connection with
Indiana Jones. You feel that strongly about the. Yeah. Well, the one thing that was really cool about Indiana Jones is you took everybody's kind of favorite directors of the time, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. Let's see what we can do, put them together, and the result was Indiana Jones. Do you know who was supposed to play Indiana Jones before Harrison Ford got the job?
Tom Selleck.
Very good. Yeah.
All right. Your memorabilia piece would be.
Does it have to be movie, or could it be TV too?
It could be TV.
Because I'm going to go with a car, and I think I would like the '60s Batmobile.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Knight Rider.
No, well, I've kind of had a car similar to that, so that's kind of been there, done that. It
was a Trans Am, right?
Well, the Dukes of Hazzard, it was a Firebird, but the Dukes of Hazzard car, of course. But I think if I could get the '60s Batmobile, would be the one that I would.
Okay,
have.
I'm going to tell you guys what I would take,
and I would drive it around. I'd drive that bloody thing to the grocery store.
I'm curious.
What would you? What's yours?
From the creature from the Black Lagoon,
okay.
When they originally find, and he digs out the claw. Right at the beginning, he's like, they're digging and he pulls out, they find that.
Yeah.
Oh, the claw. The claw.
The claw. And then they take it back and they show it to the other guys. I'm thinking, wow, that would be cool to have that.
The original claw.
Pedestal sitting at.
That's cool.
That original.
Yeah, if I'd have to give it some more thought, but that would be cool. Some of those little, it doesn't have to be such a big wow factor thing. It can just be something that holds great significance to you. Just because of what it is.
Also, from the movie 310
to Yuma.
Nice.
His pistol.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is that from the original one or the remake?
The remake.
The remake, okay.
With Christian Bale and Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason that one, I got to rewatch that because everybody loves it, and I sort of was kind of lukewarm on it in the first watch. But it's funny how we're talking about movies here and movie collecting. Yeah. Some movies will do that. You'll watch them once and you just don't get it for whatever reason, different frame of mind. Then you go back and watch it again and go, actually, man, I didn't. Yeah, you know what I found really tough like that with that was Interstellar. I watched it. I think the third time is when it really clicked.
Yeah.
And I started getting it because it was such an in-depth plot, and it was such a. I think it would have made a great book. It probably was a book before it was a movie.
I don't know.
I'm guessing.
Here's an interesting movie memorabilia thing that someone could buy: the John Wick gun safe.
Okay.
Punch that up on YouTube and see it.
Yeah.
It's like some ridiculous amount, like $150,000 or something.
But that's it. It's like all these things are whatever someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because there's like, I'm sure that like some of the things that I have from Fantastic Four or Arrow or Catwoman even.
Oh,
like, you
cool.
know, I'm sure that like those are all films that I've worked on.
I just thought of another one that I would have now.
What's that?
The briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
The briefcase.
Remember the briefcase?
Yeah.
And you never see what's in it.
No, because
but like it would be neat to have it rigged up with a light, so when you open it, it would glow.
Yeah.
You know, like the old joke. I bought my wife a fridge for Christmas. I can't wait to see her face light up when she opens it. But you know, the briefcase when they look in there, and it's always, is that what I think it is?
I guess,
and
like,
you never see it.
movie memorabilia could just be so, like, it could be clothing, vehicles,
Props,
posters,
set direction,
props,
or
all
set
kinds of
decoration. Wigs.
Script.
Wigs even. Yeah.
scripts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I know,
call sheets. Call sheets are another
Call
thing.
sheets, yeah.
Call sheets. What's interesting about call sheets and the scripts are that while we're in production, these things are just like it's just a tool that you need.
Yeah.
Right. And the old time scripts and the old time call sheets didn't have things like watermarks. Now everything's digital and everything's watermarked. So I can't like take all of my scripts from the films I've worked on and just sell them because they have my name across it. So I would get nailed by, and there's no statute of limitations with studios, and they have.
Oh, so you're
big
contractually obliged to not let that
That's
stuff
right.
out
I'm
into
not
the
allowed
public.
to.
Wow.
And well, we all sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, when we're on a production. One of the first things that you sign along with your start pack is saying that you're not going to share, leak any of this stuff. And some productions and some shows will say, okay, yeah, you're allowed to share your stories, your experiences, or your own behind the scenes thing after it's come out, a year after it's come out.
Okay.
Some shows you're never allowed to.
Because a lot of scripts are top secret, but they don't want people knowing what's going to happen in the story. So like everybody's sworn to secrecy.
And I'm sure, we've also heard a tale of like receiving false information.
Yes.
Where certain productions
Red herring
will actually
scripts.
give out because they have cast members or crew members who are known to divulge the things.
How do those guys still keep getting jobs?
Well, I don't know. Ask Mark Ruffalo. Ask Tom Holland.
Oh, it's the famous people that leak stuff.
Yeah, them too. But also, there's also like
Well, I
crew
guess you can't
members that
just
do it
replace
too.
them that easy then.
Yeah, but when that happens, I don't know. There's some. Sometimes hey, I just realized you have a sled up there that could be the
Rosebud sled? No, that's not. I'm pretty sure. I mean, yes, it is.
Yeah, there you go.
It's worth $1 million, and I'll
And
sell it to you
the
today
red
for
ball
10
went
grand.
bouncing through the set.
Yeah, no, I've heard of like when the Simpsons movie came out, that apparently they'd shred scripts after every reading. Yeah. And like the Star Wars or anything that's hugely popular, they have to make, like you said, dummy scripts that misinformation. So people record scenes that they say the wrong lines just to so they keep people guessing and confused. Warren, we're going to take a short break here, but when we come back to do our trivia and listener question, would you mind sticking around and helping us with that?
Sure thing.
You're an awesome guest and a fine gentleman and human being. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Collector's Cast. I'm Clint the Collector. Here's Mike Bloski, and staying with us, Warren Dean Fulton, the master of movie memorabilia and all things movies and films and TV. We like to do this trivia thing at this point in time. And I've got a little trivia question for you that has to do with movies, and I'm just wondering if you're going to get this or not. Okay. So, the famous George...
There's a lot at stake here.
The famous...
Oh, no.
First of all, there's no prize for guessing right, and,
Okay.
but there's also no punishment for guessing wrong.
Well, that's good.
So we were talking about George Lucas a fair bit earlier, and I've got a question regarding his first movie, or his first big production was American Graffiti.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And in that famous movie, there was a drag race between John Milner and the yellow 32 Ford Coupe and Bob Falfa, played by Harrison Ford, actually.
Yes.
In the 55 Chevy. And that same 55 Chevy was used in another movie, and it was the main car in another movie that came out before American Graffiti, I believe, a couple of years prior to it. And do you know, sir, what that movie was? And I think Mike's already bursting at the seams because I think he knows.
That's a car question.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a hint. The movie starred James Taylor, the musician,
Okay.
and Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys.
I'm drawing a blank.
It's, and that's fair because it's kind of a bit of a cult movie.
Okay, I want to know what this is.
Michael
Mike.
knows. What
tell
is
me,
it?
Mike. Tell me.
Two-lane blacktop.
Two-lane blacktop, yes. If you don't know that,
Two-lane
I
blacktop.
strongly suggest it's a great period film from that kind of late 60s, early 70s, real easy rider look to it.
Okay.
I don't think it had a huge budget. But yeah, James Taylor is, and in the credits it says, the driver, James Taylor, the mechanic, Dennis Wilson. It's just, they're...
Awesome movie.
Yeah,
Great
and what do they
movie.
call him? GTO is Warren Oates, the
Yeah.
actor Warren Oates.
Wow.
It plays a guy, and I think they just call him GTO because he drives a GTO judge.
I have not heard of this film, and
two-lane
now I'm gonna
blacktop.
have to
And
look it up.
apparently it's the same 55 Chevy that Harrison Ford drove in Two-Lane Blacktop, or in American Graffiti. So now you know.
Wow.
And
I have a little Harrison Ford moment.
oh, please.
I've worked on two productions that in Vancouver, where I live and work, that Harrison Ford was involved with. One of which was called Firewall.
Okay.
With Paul Bethany.
Yeah.
You know, the
The guy from
WandaVision and
the tall, blonde, pale guy.
Yeah, he also played Chaucer in
I was just going to say.
Knight's Tale.
He did play Chaucer.
Yeah,
You are
and
correct.
and it was friggin' funny.
One of my favorite movies, Knight's Tale.
Really?
Yeah, I love that
Oh, I
movie.
loved it too. I
Loved
thought it was
that movie.
hilarious. But my story involving Harrison Ford is, so I'm working. I had come back into locations from being a trainee assistant director at TAD, and was doing Firewall, starring Harrison Ford, and he was one of the producers as well, one of the executive producers. And so I prepped a house out in Lions Bay, and then the next location that I was prepping was a parkade downtown Vancouver, a 3-level underground parkade in the downtown core. So I'm there prepping a parkade, which there's not much you do to prep a parkade.
Oh, so
Because like with a big mansion, you're laying carpets, you're cardboarding the wall, you're putting up signage saying where off limits and all this kind of stuff.
okay.
With a parkade, it was just simply me being in a parkade, standing there, and then the art department came by and dropped off some signage to put at the part where the gate, the arm is, and so I'm waiting there in this parkade alone, as my day is going by, my 15-hour day, and at about hour 12, 4 executives come by. And they all just come in. They go, all right, we're just going to go and look down at the bottom level. And I'm like, okay, great. They all go down. And then when they were coming back up, they walked back up. And I opened the garage door for them. The 3 of them leave. The last one of them stops and goes, what's your name? I'm like, Warren. He goes, I'm Harrison. Nice to meet you.
you already recognized him.
Of
by
course
then.
I did.
Of course, yeah.
And so I was like, all right. And being working in the industry, you kind of don't really get that starstruck.
Yeah.
However, after that exchange of Harrison Ford, introducing himself and having to actually say, like, thinking he had to actually say who he was, but oh, very nice to meet you. And I stood there like at ease, and then he left, and then I got out my flip phone because it was a while back, so my phone was the old Nokia flip phone.
Yeah.
And I called my dad, and I'm like, Dad, guess who just said hi to me? And he's like, who? Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's a good
Not
one.
even Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, films are like, for me, the cinema, the movie theater is like a temple.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
a religious experience. We go to these places, sit in the dark, lights come up, and the movies.
And you just met a god.
And I just met a cinematic god.
And movies, isn't that the thing? Lucky you to be working in that.
It's funny though. You're a
Just-
movie guy, and you learn not to gush. And in fact, you guys get in trouble if you're too starstruck or bug them.
Yeah, we don't talk to them unless they talk to us.
Yeah. I understand how it works. I've known people in that, but I would be too. I'd be like, I just met Han Solo would be my kind of thing.
Well,
because
that's
who they are to us. So they're that character.
Yeah.
And I notice a parallel too when you see a picture of an older actor that you're used to seeing as a certain way. They become timeless. They kind of become locked into that form. And then you see them later on. And I just saw a picture of Gene Hackman a while ago. He's like 91 now.
Yeah.
Hardly recognizable.
Yeah.
But that's because he retired while he was on top. He, around the Unforgiven time or whatever. Still looked like Gene Hackman. Now it's like, oh my God. And we forget that these are real people that are out there doing a craft and not those characters. I guess that's a silly thing for me to have to explain to you. But anyway, moving right along, I think we've got a listener question been sent in, and that's the other thing we do here right before we end the show is we take a question from a listener. And those listeners can send those questions to feedback@thecollectorscast.com or message us directly on our Instagram page, which is @thecollectorscast. And what do we have? Who from where?
Jeffrey from North Vancouver.
Jeffrey from North Vancouver. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Okay.
Hey guys, love the show. What's your best celebrity encounter?
Ooh. Well, hey, did we just hear it?
That was way up.
That was up there?
I would say that's way up there. That was probably my biggest starstruck moment. Because
Or probably the most famous person you've met, I would guess.
I don't know. Like, if you go by their ranking on IMDb, probably not.
Oh, really?
Like currently on IMDb, the ranking number 2 right now because of the new
By the way,
Predator
this is the
film.
Internet Movie Database is what we're
Oh
talking
yes,
about
sorry,
here.
Internet Movie Database.
Yes.
Number 2 on the Internet Movie Database right now, or database, data or data.
You say potato, I say patata. Anyway.
You do?
Number
Wow, that's
2.
really weird. I just said potato.
Anyway, so sorry. Number 2 on the IMDb.
Is Amber Mid-Thunder in Prey, the new
the new
Predator.
Prey movie, the new Predator, which
Predator
takes
movie,
place in the past, doesn't it?
Yeah, 300 years in the past with
In
the
North America
in
with
North America with
indigenous people
the,
fighting the Predator. Comanches? Okay, there's only one way to say that, I think. Anyway.
I was trying another way, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so
Sorry. Yes.
So she is,
So she like that's right
Comes
now.
up
If you're looking at that,
as popularity goes.
yeah, then I would say that. But if it's just personal, anecdotal sort of experiences, Vinnie Jones.
Oh, the guy from
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Snatch, right?
Snatch,
Yeah, he plays Bullet Tooth Tony,
Bullet
doesn't
Tooth,
he?
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And he was the Juggernaut in X-Men 3,
Oh.
The Last Stand. So with that, we were doing a stunt rehearsal where it was all the stunties, all the cast, the director, the second unit director, and basically that was it, right? And then for locations, they needed just one person. So they said, okay, well, it's going to be a 7th day for Warren, but if it's not Warren, you're going to need like 3, because I had to pop up all the 10 by 10 tents, and there were about like
You're
a
an
dozen
integral
of them.
part of the game down there, I can see.
Yeah, and then provide the heaters or
But
things like that.
as Vinnie Jones was a good...
He was great. So basically, after I did all of that, I'm just standing around watching because I had nothing else to do. So Vinnie Jones goes, "Hey, Warren." I'm like, "Yeah, Vinnie." He goes, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." He goes, "Make me a sandwich." I'm like, "What?" Because I'm a locations PA. I was the key on-set PA, and that's usually not what I do.
No.
But I went, "Okay, what kind of sandwich do you want?" He goes, "I don't care. Just make it good." Right? And I go, "Okay." So I make a sandwich, putting everything. Like I'll go to Crafty, and it's like just putting every damn thing in this sandwich.
You're making
and it's like
Tony a sandwich.
I'm making this big, scary looking guy a friggin' sandwich. It's like a Dagwood sandwich. And I bring it out to him, and I'm like, "Hey, Vinny, I got your sandwich." He stares at me, picks up the sandwich. It's the best fucking sandwich I ever had.
Oh,
hey,
nice.
You, get Warren to make you a sandwich.
Oh, so now you're the
So I'm
sandwich
like,
king.
what?
So Mike has lots of tons of
I have
celebrity
quite a
stories,
few
and
celebrity encounters.
not just hockey players.
So
but
I have to pick just one. Elizabeth Taylor.
wow, Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
Was probably a very nice lady. And, well, as the story goes, I escorted her to the IMAX theater.
In her wheelchair, yeah. You pushed her in a wheelchair
Yeah.
Nice.
to watch Fantasia, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I think that's what it was.
And then you had you did security for Costner.
Yeah.
You said he was a good guy.
He's a good guy. And Robin Williams.
Oh my God.
Heck of a nice guy.
You got a Robin Williams down?
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I won't, yeah.
Such a nice guy.
I've heard nothing but
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing nice guy.
The best.
I let him park in my parking spot.
Yes.
So he his,
Was it a Range Rover?
Yeah, it was a Range Rover, yeah.
Yes.
And then he's, make sure he sees me at Starbucks. He's standing in line at Starbucks, and he sees me, and he was there with his wife at the time, and he said, "Come, can I buy you a coffee?" Yeah, nice guy. And another one that I said that I just met him, and he said, "How do you do? Thanks for the extra things you've helped us with here," was Sean Connery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I want to tell you guys this. It was like when you met him, when I met him, shook hands, and it was like you were in the presence of a king.
Yeah.
Or something. He, his
The man
voice.
who would be king.
Yeah, the man who would be king. And and then after I was like, okay, you know what? That's why he's my favorite James Bond. Because like when you meet him and shake hands with him, then you go, yeah, okay, he could go in the room and kick the shit out of 4 guys.
He's got a big mitt on him. And a big,
but he just
firm
had
handshake.
this presence about him.
Very
I've
commanding
heard
presence.
that, yeah.
Well, I'd say I've got a few too, but the one that's popping in my head that just the nicest guy ever was Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
Oh,
Really?
yes.
Yeah, met him at a car show, and he was fantastic.
I was there.
He really took the time to talk to you. It was funny because, like, he's not really the Fonz. I don't know if you know this, but actors just play people on TV. So
What?
So he wasn't really the Fonz. He was like an old Jewish guy in a green cable knit sweater. And I remember Mike said, "Geez, couldn't they have even gone?" Because he was doing like an appearance at a car show. And he's like, "Couldn't they gone down to Value Village and found him a leather jacket to wear or something?" But he's Henry Winkler. You're not meeting the Fonz. You're meeting Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
But I met and I said, I was pretty gobsmacked. And I said, and I was wearing a motorcycle jacket at the time. And I said, "You're the whole reason I wear leather jackets." And that's true. And I talked to him about the Fonz's original jacket. And I said, I remember the original episodes, it was more of a brown.
It was brown.
And then later it became black. And he said, yes, he was that original jacket. Nobody knows what happened to it. It got stolen from the prop room. And he said that so they came back from a season and they had to get him the black one.
Before they even had the brown one, he was wearing like
A windbreaker.
Windbreaker.
Yeah,
Because
it
they
was
thought the leather
ridiculous.
they thought the leather jacket looked too hoodlum.
It was too much of a hood.
Yeah, and he was supposed to just be a little side character,
Yeah.
but he became so popular with the fans. Anyway, it's been a blast. I could sit here talking famous people all night and movie memorabilia. But this is what collecting is about. It gets people having great conversations. So thank you so much for being our guest today, Warren. And if we ever tackle anything in your genre again, or comic books, we could have you back again.
Or beat poetry.
Beat poetry.
Oh, poetry.
Yeah,
Poetry,
yeah.
Yes. Like,
Yes.
And I have some collector friends that actually have like, I know of a guy who's out here in Chilliwack who has a collection of movie cameras and movie projectors.
Jeez. See?
Yeah.
Down another rabbit hole we go.
Another rabbit hole we go.
You know, the beat poetry could get you on a Dylan and all the Greenwich Village stuff, and it just goes on. And the Merry Pranksters and Ken Kesey, and boy, oh boy, rabbit holes galore. That's what you get on the Collector's Cast. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in. Remind you once again to get a hold of us at the Collector's Cast on Instagram, feedback at thecollectorscast.com for email questions. It's been lovely having you all, and it's been lovely doing this show. I hope we do it again soon.
Thank you.
Awesome having you on.
Everybody, pound it, dude.
Okay,
This has
take
been the
care.
Collector's Cast. You've all been great.
Take care. See you soon.
Thank you.
Peace out.